Dear Journal, these are the trails of the Watershed Institute in New Jersey, 950 acres of maintained and preserved woods and wetlands. To touch upon it briefly, a watershed is the local drainage spot for the surrounding area. They are the gutters of nature, and I imagine that the flow of water is responsible for the diverse ecosystem going on here, what with the taking the rain and snow and all that runoff, and depositing it in larger streams, which then goes God knows where. I'm going to say Utah. Fortunately, there are all sorts of signs around spreading knowledge. Where does this stream go? Apparently away. Yes, unfortunately, the bulk of my visits were during a period of no rain. And all I can do is read a book to stay awake, and it rips my life away, but it's a great escape. So when a new set of caches sprung up in here, I became happy, because these 950 acres are big enough that you can have a bit of introspective solitude, but not big enough that any geocacher worth their salt needs a map. Excuse me. Okay. Excuse me, am I near the Stony Brook Trail entrance?
I actually don't know.
Gotcha. Alright. Okay, maybe you should grab a map, and as much salt as you're worth for the electrolytes, especially if you're going to do the series here based on the inhabitants of the watershed. 10 caches representing 10 creatures which have clues to an 11th final cache, and I'm a sucker for that style of cache placement, so I savored the multiple trips to do this. I had to get some help with one or two of them, which is code for 2, but otherwise they aren't terribly difficult, and since you aren't supposed to go off trail in the watershed, the caches themselves, for the most part, are close at hand, placed with permission. I'm not focusing on any of the puzzles or the hides themselves, just the creatures and the knowledge they represent. But first, the butterfly house, where I was on the search for monarch butterflies. Oh, God. Sorry. That's not a butterfly. Well. Yeah, some lady was there, hidden away. I'm glad I didn't start talking to myself. That would have been weird, wouldn't it, Journal? Wouldn't it? Answer me! We have some butterflies at home, so at least I had that going for me.
He's cool looking.
Blue is superior to yellow.
What is that? Oh, hummingbird!
What?
Up there.
Where?
See him?
No.
He's coming down.
What?
Up.
Oh, yeah.
Hummingbird.
Yeah.
Come down, we have syrup.
And the hummingbird never came down. Well, let me try that butterfly house again. Yeah. There's nothing more disappointing than a butterfly house that doesn't have any butterflies in it. Hey, these people are on the roof. I'm gonna go on the roof. I never did ask about the roof, maybe because I got distracted by something that I thought only existed in cartoons. I've never actually seen people with butterfly nets. Oh, now I gotta pretend I wasn't filming them. Please note, I was not making fun of them, it was just novel, people going around with big-ass nets traumatizing butterflies. And he wrote 10 caches, each one containing information and a representation of the creature in question. I shall highlight these delightful figurines while sharing what I learned, and I shall leave it up to you how to invest your, nay mine, well, and yours, newfound information. The Box Turtle. Each box turtle has a unique pattern of markings on their head and shell, much like how us humans have fingerprints. So warning, if you ever encounter a turtle with its markings burned off, beware, it's probably part of the mafia, and it's avoiding prosecution for previous violent crimes. The Squirrel. I learned that a female squirrel can have babes as young as 6 months old. That's crazy. Giving birth to a squirrel that's already 6 months old? How does that even work? It's a squirrel sitting on a teeny tiny... Aww. The honeybee. Studies have shown that honeybees can identify and remember human feces. Wait a minute, that's a typo in my notes. Remember human faces. Yeah, I didn't need to know that one. I know we shouldn't be killing bees and all, but the thought of one remembering my face when I swat at it in the car makes me nervous. Makes me nervous if they're gonna come back with their friends. When I was young, a bee smashed into my arm. It didn't sting me, it was just a high-speed collision. I ran crying to my mother, who started out sympathetically saying, "Oh honey, you'll be okay," but immediately broke into laughter at her own bee/honey joke. She then proceeds to tell that anecdote to all of my girlfriends for the next 3 decades. every single girlfriend, which is code for 2. At some point in your quest for the 11th cache, you were brought to the Hobbit Tree, which is this isolated birch that I was lucky enough to visit during the beautiful fall colors. It's got nothing to do with anything. That's just what some kids named it. It's actually a birch tree. Just according to the sign, perhaps a forgetful squirrel left a nut here. And this birch, exposed to direct sunlight, grew up this way and is now referred to as a wolf tree. So I'm not entirely sure. It's the tree of many names. Okay, so I read up, and according to an article that I hopefully linked in the comments, a wolf tree can refer to a large tree that stands alone, or a species different from the closest tree around it, or a tree that was left uncut for a particular reason. It doesn't say why, maybe some reference to a lone wolf, who knows? I'll always remember it as the tree where I crushed my foot with a stool and my own body weight while trying to look like I wasn't aware that I was recording myself. Yeah, that old chestnut again. Well, birch nut. In the future, for brevity's sake, I shall simply refer to them as these nuts. The Deer Journal. Look, there's nothing terribly interesting about this animal that just seems to serve as, or should I say, be served as, a meal to other species. So I'll just complain about the CGI deer scene in Ring 2. Gods, that was stupid. In retrospect, I think it was one of the nails in the coffin for me in regards to even bothering to watch movies anymore. Thanks, Ring 2. The Coyote. Coyotes mate for life. You hear that, Sebastian, you two-timing coyote? You're supposed to mate for life, not leave me at Denny's at 2:45 in the morning with nothing but my broken dignity and the unpaid check for 3 grand sandwiches. You were supposed to mate for life. I have to go to the bathroom. Do not pee on or near the caches. Please. Please. The Red-Tailed Hawk. Red-tailed hawks mate for life. You hear that, Sebastian? No, I'm sorry. I think I saw one of these Spitfires here on one of my visits, cruising around for a bit of breakfast, but I don't know. It could be any old bird. I wanted to read up more about it in my book, Birds of Pennsylvania, but it doesn't work in New Jersey. In the midst of these 10 caches, there is a separate, strange mystery cache that doesn't have to do with the final, a cache that alludes to something cryptozoological. But when I read the description, I noticed some similarities to a journal keeper that I know. I'm large and furry. I am shy and don't like to be around people. I might have a foul smell and move silently and emit a high-pitched cry. And I like geocaching. Well, shit. That pretty much describes me. The geocacher inside of me wants to maintain a sense of mystery here, so I'm not going to spoil this one. That's the last time I let a geocacher inside of me. Heyo! Free hat. Nashville. You know what this means. Somebody back here was decapitated. Where's this cache at? There is another tree on the map, simply called the Lonely Tree. And I'm sorry, these butterfly chairs are cool, but insanely difficult to get comfortable in. Yeah, alright, that looks relaxing. Just chilling and looking at the Lonely Tree. There was no documentation on it that I could immediately find, although I admit my search lacked the luster, but it seemed like it's a large tree on its own out here, thus making it a lone wolf tree. Why didn't the kids that named the Hobbit tree name this tree as well? This is the most I've thought about a tree in my life, so let's look at some more of those fancy animal models the CO has got going on in the caches. The Owl. I learned not all owls hoot. Barn owls make hissing sounds. And the eastern screech owl whinnies like a horse. Now, I'm no ornithologist, but I can't help feel that maybe the eastern screech owl should be called the eastern whinny like a horse owl. What's next? Horses that hoot? I just checked, and disappointingly, the answer is nay. The Red Fox. One of the few performers to have the lead role in a television show on the 3 main networks back in the day. He was the lead in Sanford and Son on NBC, The Royal Family on CBS, and The Red Fox Comedy Hour on ABC. Impressive. It's been a while, my little blood-sucking friend. It's been a while. Chisa! Oh no. Oh, it's in my shoe hole. This cheap-ass shoe? Or is that a different one? Oh, get off. The Cottontail Rabbit. Apparently, they have a wicked sense of smell to help alert them to predators, but it's also kind of a shame as they also eat their own shit to maximize the nutrient value of the plants they eat. They are notorious reproducers, but it took me some time as a child to understand this joke after Bugs Bunny won a call-in contest involving math.
How much is 1,297 times 142?
184,174. What else?
You're right. How did you get the answer so quickly?
Oh, that's easy. If there's one thing us rabbits can do, it's multiply.
The Raccoon. It seems like these things can't go wrong. They're excellent climbers and swimmers, and a lot of their sensory apparatus is top of the line from Mother Nature, but the media always portrays them as trash bandits. Now, I have a soft spot for raccoons because I know what it's like to get a bad rap for digging through people's garbage. And if you've ever seen one in its natural habitat, let me know, because I never have. I only see them in the trash, taking what's mine.
There's a few of these comfy chairs scattered throughout the watershed. And they all have ammo boxes attached to them. I'm assuming under normal circumstances they would be filled with maps or brochures or something, but as a geocacher I find it very distracting because I have to look. I'm a geocacher. I'm walking backwards.
I now have found all 10 caches and assembled the coordinates for the final. Let the hunt begin.
What a frigid morning. It's a Lunchables kind of morning. Shut up. Ain't nothing wrong with a man eating a Lunchable at dawn.
Fueled by processed meat discs, I made the find, which was a good old-fashioned ammo can, and I left what I thought was appropriate swag. Sorry, did you think it was going to be something jokey? My bad. Anyway, this concludes my time at the watershed, nature's pretty gutter. Shout out to the CO for the effort involved getting permissions and all that. Sounds like a pain to me. I hope anyone viewing my journal got some entertainment out of all this, because I wouldn't say that I confirmed any of the things that look like facts in here. I leave you with my piecemeal poetry, created with their haiku maker. Be safe out there, journal.
Thin burning grasses, dancing in nature, with a wind-enchanted song. I know, right? It's quite the haiku maker they got here. Yep, everything would ignite instantly if I decided to put fire to it. Best not to think about it.